Happy Leif Erikson Day, motherfuckers!
A hoonda brunda, or whatever the fuck they did in that SpongeBob
Durkin
episode.
is what it is. hang on.
And I can say that because I have Viking blood.
Happy Leif Erikson Day, motherfucker!
Did you just yell that out your window?
Yeah, I was in the street.
It is Leif Erikson Day today, October 9th. Is when we're recording this.
Eat your fucking heart out, Canadian Thanksgiving. It's Leif Erikson Day.
Yeah, suck it, Canada.
I actually don't really know which of the 3 days of this weekend is the day that is technically Thanksgiving, but it's one of them.
Well, it's not today. That's for sure.
It's fucking, and if it was, it's not anymore.
We learned that. Let's check the calendar. It's not gonna give me. It's not gonna give me.
Yeah, you don't live
holidays. Here. It is letting me know that tomorrow is Columbus Day, a.k.a. Indigenous Peoples Day. So shout out to all the Indigenous peoples, right?
Yeah, we also, in Canada, recently had its second National Truth and Reconciliation Day on September 30th.
Good.
Maybe next time we mark one of those, we won't just talk about shit and we'll actually fucking do something.
That'd be nice, right?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Also, it appears that Thanksgiving in Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Northwest Territories, Nova Scotia, Nunavut, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon is on Monday.
Nice.
I don't know why they listed everything. I think that's every province and territory. Why did they list it? Is one missing?
I don't know, man.
1, 2, 3, hang on, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that was all of them. Why did they list it and not just say whole country? What the fuck?
They're going for, they had to reach a certain word count, right?
Yeah, they were padding for time.
Corey, I got a little bone to pick with you.
With me?
Yeah.
With
You don't
little
know
old
anything about
me?
this. Little old you.
On Leif Erikson Day?
On today of all days. Leif
Also,
Erikson
what
Day.
is Leif Erikson Day about, really quick? A Norse explorer who led the first Europeans thought to have set foot in continental North America. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't go great. Well, I've already yelled it twice.
So 9/27/2022, you messaged me. I think Night of the Demons 3 is the exact brand of direct-to-video movie you'd probably dig.
Yes, I did say that.
So I'm like, hell yeah, I got to track this thing down. I have not found it. I didn't ask you for a link. It's a hard to find movie. But I did
Okay.
listen to They Made Another One on Night of the Demons 3.
Yeah?
Where the three of you just rip that fucking movie to pieces and talk about how bad it is.
Well,
so fuck you for judging my taste. You're like, hey, Neil, here's a giant piece of shit. I think
No.
you'll really like it.
Hang on. Hang on. If you watch the movie, I think you'll know what I was getting at.
Okay.
I'm not saying you exclusively like stupid shit movies. That's not what I'm saying at all. But the brand of direct to video movie this is something that is like, I think anyway, I could be wrong.
Okay.
On the same wavelength as your enjoyment of even things like what we've talked about on this show occasionally, of just like
from
that,
Dusk
that
Till
particular
Dawn to Texas
brand,
Blood Money,
right? Like somebody's arm turns into a snake,
right? That did sound pretty rad, honestly.
Right?
I was like, wait, how do they just talked about this? How are they not enjoying this movie? What's going on here? And not as someone's hand turned into a snake, like was it the Dallas Connection or Hard Ticket to Hawaii, whichever one. They just painted the person's hand up, whatever Andy Sedaris movie that was.
Oh, is it? It might be Hard Ticket to Hawaii because it's in the toilet, right? And it gets shot with a rocket launcher and explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
We're not talking about that kind of using somebody's hand as a snake, right? The greatest special effects ever seen on screen.
Well, it's that and the frisbee, right?
The frisbee.
The murder frisbee in Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Yeah. I haven't watched that one in a while.
I've literally only seen it once, but it was the first kind of like intentionally, like I'm watching this because it's bad movie I ever watched. So it all just got seared directly into my brain.
Watching the frisbee scene, just get kind of reacquainted. Okay.
Well, there's that. There's the sex doll rocket launcher incident. There's the handstand skateboarding man. There's the dirt bike through the house.
Yeah, but at some point, all of these things get repeated in other Andy Sedaris movies. Because they just had the same like 6 things they used over and over again.
If it ain't broke.
My favorite is the RC cars that they use as bombs. Why is this ad 30 fucking seconds long?
You know what else kind of has like an if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach to the way they plot their movies?
I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this fucking scene right now.
Don't worry, I've got a segue for you.
Tell me, Corey.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal fucking Kombat. Folks, we are being super duper timely-ish.
This shit came out today as we record.
Mortal Kombat Legends.
On this Leif Erikson day, bro.
Yeah, nothing at all to do with the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat that happened a couple days ago.
It's the 30th anniversary of Leif fucking Erikson, bro.
It's the 30th anniversary of Hard Ticket to Hawaii. And Warner Brothers is celebrating by releasing the 3rd Mortal Kombat Legends animated movie, Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. I feel like this movie had very, very little fanfare. Like, I think we had one trailer, maybe, and they were like, by the way, this movie comes out in a month. And then the movie came out. It also leaked early. Like, this just feels
it's very much,
like,
if I may be so bold,
yeah,
it's very much kind of a they made another one scenario, if you will.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You're like, holy shit, there's another one of these? I think they kind of maybe learned their lesson from the less than positive reception that Battle of the Realms has received. And they're like, we shouldn't spend as much on marketing this time.
Well, I also think that they probably recognized, especially with this movie, I think, this movie is for a very specific person.
Me. This movie's for me. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, so they probably don't need to market it super, super hard. In much the same way that, you know, the entire world isn't going to seek out the Warner Brothers animated film featuring not only the Mystery Inc. team, but also The Undertaker. That's just not for everybody. This has Jarek in it.
It does have Jarek in it, doesn't it?
That's not for everybody.
He doesn't say anything, though, so that's cool.
He grunts and then gets unceremoniously cut in twain.
I think it was pretty ceremoniously cut in twain, personally. We'll get into it.
Unceremoniously relative to, like, getting your feet frozen to the ground and kicked into the gears of time.
That's true. That's very true. Hey, spoilers, everybody, for
you figure out if what I just said happens. Spoilers, it does.
Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. This is a spoiler-full podcast. We're not pulling any punches, all right?
Just like...
We're not. Just like all the characters in the movie also don't pull any punches.
Not a single one.
Yeah, man. General thoughts, Corey. Let's just let the audience know how we're feeling. How you feeling about Snowblind?
Well, it's better than Battle of the Realms.
Hell yeah, it's better than Battle of the Realms.
Battle of the Realms. Okay, I feel like we were pretty hard on Battle of the Realms, right?
We might have been a little too hard on it, but I feel fine.
I disagree.
I have not had the urge to revisit Battle of the Realms since that final 4th watch through I did of it.
Yeah, first of all, you're psychotic. Second of all,
yeah,
this really drives home just how shitty Battle of the Realms is. Because, you know, as I said, if it isn't broken, don't fix it.
Right.
And while, you know, narratively, like, the details are in fact quite different from anything we've seen in a standard, you know, previous Mortal Kombat plot. Rarely is Kano some kind of gigantic robot warlord king of the world. However, you know what's not broken? You have a guy who wants to be the greatest warrior and then needs to learn a lesson about his hubris and is trained by somebody else and then fights in something approximating some version of Mortal Kombat for the betterment of others, and we all learn a lesson. And not
to protect villages too, right?
Yeah, and not whatever the fuck Battle of the Realms was about. So, I mean, what this is...
It's a tried and true formula.
This is just some good old-fashioned, do you want a movie with a training montage? Do you want a movie with a lot of people getting cut in half? Do you want a movie...
Did you like the Shaw Brothers production One-Armed Swordsman, where a fierce warrior is essentially disabled and has to overcome that disability to become a fierce warrior and is humbled in the process? We got you covered.
Do you like chickens?
Do you like dudes running after chickens in cornfields? Who doesn't? Let's be real.
Do you like drugging people and then saying it's their fault. All of these things are here for you.
Out of context, that's a troubling thing to say.
It is, but we have context, so it's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is for Mortal Kombat fans.
This is for Mortal Kombat fans.
I think if you watch this and you don't know the deep lore, and genuinely, you either need, at the bare minimum, I hope you've played the most recent game or know what it was about, or I hope you know the deep lore, because otherwise, I do earnestly believe that you're not going to get a particularly large amount out of this, in that it's just going to seem like a kind of generic standard plot as we described, except you put about 18 times more blood in it. But
God, so much.
If you're a Mortal Kombat fan and you like references and you like being able to point at the screen and go, I know what that is, I've got great news. You're going to know what it is.
Yeah. How many times do you think I've watched this movie since it came out today?
Neil, it came out today.
Yeah.
How could the number be more than like... It's 3.
Two. I watched it twice.
I was going to say 2 because I was going to say it's 3:40 p.m.
Yeah.
I
watched it twice.
I was like, I can't convince myself that it's 3. That seems impossible.
It was in my digital library at midnight last night, but I did not watch it last night. I watched it this morning, and then I watched it again after that. And man, I think I really like it. I agree with you. It's a movie for Mortal Kombat fans. It's a pretty standard story type, right? Like it is.
Yeah, you're getting exactly what it says on the can.
Sure.
No more, no less.
But I think it's a pretty good version of one of those. And I think just dressing up like a classic samurai film in Mortal Kombat stuff is a pretty cool thing to do. I think it works pretty well.
Right.
I don't have any major gripes about this at all. I'm not prepared to say I like it better than, say, Scorpion's Revenge.
It's perfectly watchable, and you'll probably have a good time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm gonna put it above Battle of the Realms for sure, and I'm gonna put it above Mortal Kombat 2021 as well. I'm not sure if it's gonna end up being like an all-time classic for me, or if it's just gonna be like, that was a pretty good one that I'll watch on occasion. You know what I mean?
There is stuff about it where I'm just sort of not that compelled by some of it, but overall, sure. First of all, if you're listening to this podcast, you should watch it. If you're even here, the answer's already yes.
If you're here, you've already seen it. Probably,
maybe
honestly.
Twice.
Sure.
But yeah, like there's cool stuff going on. They're doing good work within the kind of standard apparatus they're set themselves up with.
I'm just so glad it wasn't a slog, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff we've done is just like, okay, this is kind of a slog.
This was 80 minutes and it felt like 6,000. Like
this was easily watchable. Do you want to do Corey? Do you want to do a Corey corner? Like real old school.
Oh, so like we don't know how to do a good podcast yet? So
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Let's do a bad podcast.
I'm saying let's use the format we hardly ever use anymore.
Right. Welcome to the Corey Corner. It's weird hearing it at normal speed. We've only been using the fast one, so it's funny to hear the slow one, the normal one. It's not the slow one. It's just the other one's the fast one.
True.
So
we'll use the fast one later when we record our second episode of the day.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's going to be... I hope I don't waste all my jokes in this episode.
We have different things to joke about. Anyway,
so
let's hear it. Let's rock, right? Let's rock.
So, you ever see Mad Max?
Fucking hell yeah, I've seen the Mad Maxes.
Great. So...
Also a rad little Neil Marshall film called Doomsday.
Did you make that? You guys have the same first name. Are you like related?
He spells it with an I. I spell it with an A.
Nah, he spells it wrong.
And he's talented, unlike me.
Well, yeah.
All right. No, it's fine. We can just leave it at that.
Sure. So
everyone knows I'm a poor filmmaker. That's why I don't make films.
Yeah, that's why the Taven episode was audio only.
It's actually is still audio only.
That's what I'm saying. So, Kano, you know him?
Yeah.
So he is the leader of the Black Dragon. You heard of that?
Right. Yeah, that's Jola's organization.
Exactly. But
Right.
it's not the Black Dragon you're picturing. Instead of like, terrorists selling, like RPGs to wizards, right?
Right.
Picture more just like a roving Mad Max bandit gang of like cars and like weird mohawked dudes and like screeching maniacs led by like a towering 7-foot tall ginger mohawked robo Kano.
Hell yeah.
Who are gallivanting across the wasteland.
Yes.
It's only ever referred to as the wasteland.
But it is confirmed to be an Earth realm.
Yeah, because there's a car.
Yeah.
And they don't have those in Outworld.
But there's the Liu Kang statue, and then at the end, Sub-Zero is like, you have to protect Earth realm. It's Wasteland's in Earth realm.
It would be funny if he said that, and then it was like, so I'm going to take you to Earth realm. And that's what that was.
Right. And it's just like a nice place. It's just like modern day Earth.
It's Chicago.
Like, yeah. It's Midway headquarters.
Yeah. It's the Midwest.
Circa 1993.
1919. So he is going across the wasteland and subjugating all of it under his cruel reign. He gets to what they believe to be the final outpost of just normal people living regular lives. And there's a dude there in a cloak, in a mask, in a cool guy attitude. His name is Kenshi Takahashi. Are you familiar with this man?
Sure.
Great. So Kenshi wants to be the best.
Right.
And to do that, he is going to Sonic the Hedgehog talk at all of the bad guys.
Right.
And snark his way into fighting them to prove that he is the best. And at first, that actually goes pretty okay. He's getting into a verbal confrontation with the weirdest group of people imaginable. Which is
this is in that hidden outpost. This is with Kira,
Kobra, and Cabal.
Yes, all spelled with K's.
Yeah. So I'd really want to drive this one home, just to be clear, with the kind of lore knowledge you'll benefit from having. Kenshi Takahashi is having a conversation with Cabal, Kira, and Kobra.
Yep.
And then Kano shows up, and every name has been spelled with a K so far. So just that's the kind of baseline that we're setting. So he, throws hands for a bit, proves that he's kind of got some moves. Meanwhile, there is an altercation between the thing that precipitated this, I should say. Sub-Zero is like living on a farm.
Yep.
Farming.
Sure. This is Kuai Liang.
Having nightmares about
another K. It's important.
Yeah.
Kuai Liang.
Having nightmares about his troubled past.
Yeah.
And bringing food to town and then selling it and then just kind of going about his solitary life. Because as it turns out, not only does he have cryomancy powers, but this is a version of Sub-Zero that has such outrageous and unbelievable cryomancy powers that he physically cannot control them if he attempts to use them, and will just sort of go ice crazy and kill everybody. So he's decided, I'm just never going to do that.
Right.
So the Black Dragon sort of fucks with Sub-Zero, and then they have that interaction with Kenshi. And Shang Tsung is there also. Shang Tsung is like Kano's number 2 man.
Right, and he's all pathetic and old. And
he's all old and shitty and old. Gross. Am I right?
Yeah. He looks like Mr. Burns with long hair.
He looks like me. It's not true.
Oh, come on, man.
No, come on. You look better than old decrepit Shang Tsung. Come on.
You don't look that bad.
Come on. So Shang Tsung is sent to follow them back to a second sort of confrontation in this town, and again, just to really drive home the kind of lore knowledge that you need. Kenshi is about to have a conversation with Cabal, Kira, Kobra, and Tremor.
That's right. Yeah, after he bested the elite guard, Kano sent them all back with Tremor this time. Also.
I hope you like 3D era Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, man.
Because this is going to keep happening for the rest of the movie. So Kenshi gets his ass beat pretty hard.
Yep.
And then Shang Tsung is there watching, and he's like, Tremor, don't kill him. And then Shang Tsung goes up to Kenshi, his beat ass, and is like, hey, my name is Song. Yeah.
So, he's the long lost triplet of sing and sang.
Yeah, sing. Yeah, exactly. Huey, Dewey, and Song. And so he's like, hey, can I help you? It looks like you just got your ass beat. And he's like, yeah, I would love. She's like, I would love that. I would love help. He's like, what if I brought you to a sort of unfathomable power?
Man, we all know where this is going.
And Kenshi's like, well, seeing as I have nothing but hubris, that sounds incredible. So they go to the Mortal Kombat logo, and
they do. That's good.
And while they're there, they find this big sort of well, and Kenshi's like, hang on, I can read. So everybody step the fuck back. This is a well of souls, Takahashi clan, whatever. Hey, these are my ancestors.
Yeah.
This is my ancestor's sword. And Shang Tsung's like, cool, do you want to do blood magic for a second? Don't ask. And then cuts his hand open. They get this well open, and Shang Tsung, for no real reason, is like, hey, can you look in there? Hey, just look in there.
Go check it out.
And he's like, I don't see shit. And he's like, hang on, I see something bright. It appears to be getting brighter. And then it just burns his eyes like completely out of his head, and he goes blind.
Yep.
Shang Tsung proceeds to devour the whole of the ancestral souls of the Takahashi clan.
Yeah, he does.
Completely rejuvenates himself to like young, sexy Bruce Locke mode.
Totally. 100%.
And goes, hey, dumbass. And then just chucks him into the well.
Chucks him into the well.
So Shang Tsung is like, finally, my chance to... I'm going to do this slightly out of order, I think, if I remember correctly. But he's like, finally, my chance to usurp Kano. I fucking hate this guy. Right. Working for this guy sucks ass. He's a shitty boss. The hours are bad. I don't get dental. This is bullshit.
Right. He only lets me have 2 souls a day.
Yeah, 2 souls a day. What man can live on that? What am I, a dog?
Yeah.
Am I a dog that eats souls?
Am I soul-eating dog? Can I at least have an apple to go with these 2 souls?
Am I Dogny Dangerfield, bro? Rodney Danger Dog? What's the name of that movie where he plays a dog? Somebody help me.
Rover Dangerfield.
It's even worse than the shit I was saying. At least Dogny is like sort of his name. Whatever. Chuck Dangerfield.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
we'll talk more about that on our Rover Dangerfield special episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna call the dog police. So you remember Corey Corners when they were just complete fucking unhinged garbage and occasionally the plot?
That's why we're bringing it back.
We're back. So Shang Tsung rolls back up to like Kano's house, and he's like, "What's up, fuckers? I'm here to beat your ass. I'm sick of working for you, and to prove it, I'm gonna shoot green magic at all of these
all
people,
over the place.
And a bunch of people die." And Kano's like, huh, okay. Hey, minions, please go beat his ass. And then Kobra, unsurprisingly, gets murdered because who cares?
Yeah.
And there's a big fight ensues. People are getting chucked around, and it becomes clear very fast that despite the fact that Shang Tsung can suck bullets into a portal and then shoot them out of a different portal, which is pretty cool. Kano is truly in playing with his food mode and is like, hey, dipshit, I knew you were going to do this. How would you like to die today?
Right.
And the answer ends up being getting your head slammed into a wall so many times that it makes it easier to rip your spine out of your body. So Kano has killed Shang Tsung and is like, hey, don't fuck with me. What did I tell you? Meanwhile, Kenshi is having a terrible time, just sort of fumbling around the desert with a talking sword that he found at the bottom of a well that lets him see, and he's like, I gotta get somewhere. And he goes and he has another discussion with Kuai Liang, and he's like,
man Sub-Zero finds him, brings him in.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll let you stay long enough that you can sort of be cool, and then I'm just gonna kind of let you go on your own. I'm not here to teach you how to fight. I know you saw my sick Lin Kuei tattoo that I got in 2001 when tribal tats were still in, but
think about getting one myself, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna get it right on like where my Adam's apple is, like just in the center of my neck.
I'm gonna put mine right over my heart.
Yeah, I'm gonna put mine. I'm gonna etch it into my car with my keys.
Get the Taven face dragon tattoo on my face.
I'm gonna get the Cabral face tattoo on my face.
Yeah. I'm gonna get that one too, but on my ass.
I'm gonna get that tattoo on my face. So Kenshi's like, fuck you, man. Why don't you teach me to... Yeah?
ko-fi.com/mkpodquest if you want to help us pay for our Mortal Kombat face tattoos.
So Kenshi's like, come on, you fucking pussy. Why don't you teach me how to fight better? What are you, some kind of fucking coward?
Right.
And then Kuai Liang is like, look, I used to be that guy. I get it. It's very cool. I'm not that guy anymore. Mm-hmm. I want you to be able to walk, and then you can walk into the desert and fuck off, and I don't care. And then so they sort of talk, and Kenshi's trying to be like, hey, man, why aren't you just being cool? You don't seem to recognize that my life is over on account of the fact that I can't see. And also, I got embarrassed in front of a couple girls back there, and they're not going to like me anymore. So I basically just want to pack it in and just die. And Kuai Liang just sort of goes, okay. And he's like, wait, you were supposed to feel bad for me when I said that. Why don't you feel bad? And he's like, because the things that you're focusing on in your life are the wrong things. You're worried about honor and kicking ass and not just, I don't know, being alive and maybe having chickens. But ultimately, to speed this process up somewhat, ultimately, yes, Sub-Zero in more of a Sub-Zero mode, therefore I say Sub-Zero, does ultimately decide, okay, I'm going to help you not just get back on your feet, but we can fuck around and fight a little bit. Sure, man.
Yeah. Training montage.
You know, the classics, the usual.
Catch the chicken, blind guy, kick the things when I throw pebbles at him, right? Hop on these posts.
Yeah. Wooden sword fight.
Yeah.
Existential shouting match. The big five.
Use telekinesis to pull your sword towards you before I drop this melon on your head.
Get roofied.
You know? Get drugged. You should have smelled it first to see if it was poison before you drank it.
Check your drinks, dumbass. It's genuinely just part of the training. I thought that was kind of weird.
Should have been one of those scenes where he takes out one of those coasters that you can like dip into the drink to see if it's been roofied.
Yeah, they should have broken the fourth wall and just done a full PSA.
Right.
With the lion from Dare is also there.
And Veronica Mars, because that was a subplot of season 3.
When is the lion from Dare going to be DLC for Mortal Kombat?
Right. Or McGruff the crime dog.
Yeah, I think they should be like a Ferrator kind of situation.
100%. except the bigger one rides on the back of the littler one, and it's funny.
Yeah. So they fight, they fuck around, whatever. There's a whole other town, and Kano's like, okay, I guess I'll go subjugate this town.
Well, this is the hidden town. This is where Kenshi fought Tremor.
Yeah.
In the first place.
Just to be clear, there was one outpost and there was a second outpost. Just to make this unequivocally clear. And Kano's like, fine, I guess I'll go subjugate this outpost too, blah, 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 whatever. And they're like, hey, maybe we should stop that. And Sub-Zero's like, but I told you I have uncontrollable ice powers. Don't you remember? Come on, listener. Don't you remember? There's that whole sequence where Kuai Liang is like, the reason I don't use my powers is because this whole realm used to be crawling with revenants, including and specifically Nightwolf, and also a bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
And they were taking over whole cities and countries. And then me and the Lin Kuei, because we were bad motherfuckers who don't take no for an answer, we rolled into the city and we were there to beat some ass and chew bubble gum. And I was all out of gum and also ass. And then, so we were mostly just there to kill people. And he's like, I was hot shit. I had cryomancy powers. You know what that is? I bet you don't, dumbass. And Kenshi didn't. So he had to explain it. I did think it was weird that there was a 45-minute sequence where he explained what cryomancy was in a 1 hour and 20-minute movie.
It was most of the movie. And like, it's wild. Kenshi was straight up like, no, I don't know what cryomancy is. I've never played Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. And then
he's never played the game.
And then he goes, don't worry about it. I have a Super Nintendo. I know. Sorry. There's no blood in it. Ugh.
He's like, let me show you this episode. It was just the Sub-Zero episode of Mortal Kombat Conquest spliced in. That was the full 45 minutes.
I mean, look, you got to save money. But I did think it was weird that they rotoscoped it.
I thought it looked sick, honestly.
Yeah, it was cool that they hired fucking, oh shit.
Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, let's go with that. That's way funnier than the guy's name I was trying to remember. The fucking Scanner Darkly guy.
No, they just got Ralph Bakshi out of retirement to rotoscope Conquest.
One last ride. So,
God damn it, I want that so bad now.
So he went in there and Scorpion, spoilers, sorry, I didn't mean to say Scorpion yet.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
Sub-Zero goes absolutely sicko mode. Unfortunately, though, he goes a little bit too sicko mode and creates an ice storm that kills everybody but him.
Everyone.
And he's
like Gary Oldman.
And he's like, so I don't do that anymore on account of my inability to not kill everyone. And Kenshi basically just says in response, well, if some people are bad, what if that just makes you a pussy? And I know I've used that word twice, but let's be honest, Kenshi would say it.
This Kenshi would absolutely say it.
This
right.
Kenshi would call you a pussy and then like dunk your head in the toilet before he went blind.
Yeah, this Kenshi fucks.
Not in this movie.
No.
But, maybe some other time. But
we weren't with him the entire time.
Yeah,
he
who could say?
Might have just off screen.
He might have. So they're like, okay, yeah, fine. Let's stop Kano.
Yeah.
And
well, Kenshi goes first.
Right, yeah.
Like, Kenshi's like, fuck you, I have honor.
Yeah, Kenshi goes and he's like, okay, I'm going to go stop Kano. Doesn't succeed in that.
No.
It goes pretty well.
It goes real fucking well. We get to see him doing all his Kenshi shit, right?
And then he ultimately does get tied up and unceremoniously captured, and they want to make an example out of him to not fuck with the
Black Dragon.
Can we get Paul or Dom to just say the Black Dragon and then cover whatever the fuck I just tried to do with that? That would be great.
We'll see if that happens before the episode.
Yeah. We'll see. We got time. On Leif Erikson Day, anything can happen. You know what they say? When you see a star in the sky in the middle of the day on Leif Erikson Day, you make a wish at the sun and it melts your eyes.
Hold on, let me message them now.
I'll take any accent, but Australian would be preferable on account of, the connection. But like if they could do it in like an English accent, our accent, whatever. While you're doing that, so Kenshi tries to solo save the universe. Doesn't really work. We see Sub-Zero, Kuai Liang back at home, like letting all of his animals go and burning his house down. And it's like, okay, I guess he's about to go sicko mode. But not only that, not only is he about to go sicko mode,
not only
the cavalry's here.
Yeah.
So there is an implied long-term, if not friendship, understanding between Kuai Liang and Scorpion. And this is very specifically Scorpion. This is
Hanzo.
Yeah, but this is like full Scorpion, skull face man. Fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Like he shows up and he just asks him in a genuinely caring manner, like, "Hey, you go sicko mode again? What's up? Is everything okay over here?"
Right.
And he goes, "No, but I'm gonna." So you're gonna want to fucking stick around.
They have some kind of deal.
Yeah,
right?
they have some kind of deal that they don't explain. Not like verbally. They imply some sort of vague, if Sub-Zero ever called in the Scorpion favor, he had to go to hell.
It's kind of like how Batman has the contingency plan for all the members of the Justice League, right? And then he gives like the contingency plan for himself. If he goes evil, he gives that to Superman, right? And he's like, if I ever go bad, I'm trusting you to take me down, kind of thing. It's like, it's one of those deals.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have one of those too.
We do.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to like tell the people about it, but we do. If either of us goes sicko mode, the other one knows what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and this is so important, nobody listening to this show can ever reach out to us and unwittingly write the activation phrase because we might do it prematurely.
It's dangerous.
And then the podcast is over.
So we're not going to reveal that here today.
No.
But if you give us enough money at ko-fi.com/mkpodquest,
let's just say it might have something to do with Leif Erikson. So they just
nobody say Vorpax backwards to us. That's just the important thing to know.
Yeah, and also Leif Erikson. Keep trying to make that one work. So
it's working.
Then the long and
someone out there's getting an absolute kick out of it every time you say Leif Erikson.
So the long
worry.
Leif Erikson who's listening. So the long and short of it, because I've been going for like 12 minutes and just watch the movie at that point. They team up. Kenshi, Sub-Zero, Scorpion team up to go kick Kano's ass. And also Tremor's ass, and Cabal's ass, and Aaron Black's ass, and Kira's ass. Jarek's ass. Jarek had already been dead, but let's just really drive that point home.
Farah and Tor.
That is
Tor's ass.
Fucking hilarious.
Farah Tor's ass. No Face's ass.
Who's No Face?
No Face's no ass. He was the flamethrower guy. He's from Mortal Kombat Special Forces.
That was the one thing where I'm like, I know this is a reference to something, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, they kicked No Face's no ass.
Right. And then they're going, they're fighting. There's some losing, there's some winning. the long and short of it is Kenshi kills Tremor.
Yeah, man.
Scorpion kills Cabal.
Yeah, man.
And then Kano's running away, and he pulls out a skull
with a crown on it.
And they're like, huh, I've seen that somewhere before. I know that I have terminal lore brain because I've never played Mortal Kombat 11, and I don't know what I cannot picture this character in my brain, but he pulled it out, and my brain just went, that's Kronika's skull. And I don't know, like, I just knew.
You just knew.
I just knew. Like, I'm being completely serious. Like, this sounds like I'm doing a bit. Like, I don't know what that character looks like. Like, if you asked me to draw Kronika, I would have no idea. But he pulled it out, and my brain just sort of naturally concluded that that must be what that is.
Yeah, man.
And I was right. So
you were right.
The reason that Kano's been able to turn into a 7-foot tall ginger robot that takes over the world is because he has Kronika's skull and can use it to gain access to the hourglass room. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. He calls it Kronika's hourglass. We know it as the hourglass of time.
Yeah, and so he has access to that room, and so he just restarts when he gets bored or shit doesn't go his way. That's why he can so easily predict everybody's behavior, because he's probably done it a lot.
Yeah, he just keeps doing this over and over and over again.
Yeah, Sub-Zero goes in there.
And he claims he's like, that's how I never lose. I just restart the game every time. Like, dude, you're still losing, right?
Yeah,
like,
you're just being a coward.
It's like if you're playing NBA Jam on the Sega Genesis with your brother and you're beating him so he hits the reset button, you still won, right? Like, that doesn't keep him from having lost just because he quit.
Yeah.
You know?
So they have a cool fight in there. Ends with Kano getting pretty severely killed into the gears of time.
Into those weird gear things in the background. Yeah, dude.
And then Kenshi's like, cool, Kuai Liang, great, glad we did that. So you're going to stick around and help me like save the world and remake the Lin Kuei and everything? And Kuai Liang's like, no. You could do that if you want, though. Do you want the immortal Mortal Kombat task of being responsible for creating a new order of heroes and finding and training people for the risk of new threats? Yeah. I've got great news. You're just Kung Lao now. Goodbye.
You are the new great Kung Lao. I got to go into the nether realm with Scorpion. We have a deal.
And then they just leave.
End. That's the end of the movie.
So that took me 45 minutes. Sorry, but
it didn't take that long.
That took 16 years.
Let's go over to the Neil Nook.
Ah! Remember that?
Yeah, get over here. Welcome to the Neil Nook.
It's Gucci.
I'm going to have to drop those in post because I turned on the wrong recording track.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. All right. This movie was directed by Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
He was a story... Morales, not Moranis. And not Rags Morales either, the comic book artist. Writer? Doesn't matter. Matters to his fans, but not for this. Let me take that from the top.
Matters
this
to my haters.
This was directed by Rick Moranis. He's directed
Rick Moranis. Sorry.
He's directed like some Ben 10 episodes, some of like the Lego DC stuff and Lego Scooby-Doo stuff. He was a storyboard artist for a long time. He was on like Young Justice, Clone Wars, The Batman, I think Beware the Batman. Maybe Generator Rex. That might be the writer. Yeah, just like a hardcore Warner Brothers animation player, right?
Yeah, shit, I wanted to make a joke so bad and I forget the name of the show. What's the name of the show with the three they sing the song about countries? What is it? Fuck.
Animaniacs.
Yeah. That's funny. Me not remembering is funnier than anything I was about to say. But I was going to say, yeah, you might know him from Animaniacs where he played the water tower.
I think he did play the water tower in Animaniacs. He at least storyboarded it probably once or twice. I think he does a pretty good job directing this. I mean, obviously he's directed other animation projects, action-based animation projects. I just want to give him props because this felt like the action was largely really easy to follow, with the exception of like one scene when they're fighting in the snow at the end where Kenshi and Sub-Zero do some kind of like spin attack together and like kill 15 people all at once.
That's just sort of nonsense.
That was the only part where I like couldn't really follow what was going on. Otherwise, all of the animation was like super clean and like the action was really easy to follow, and I was into it. This was written by Jeremy Adams, who also wrote Scorpion's Revenge and Battle of the Realms.
2 for 3 ain't bad.
And he was a story editor for Supernatural for a long time.
Nice.
I'm going to jump into some cast. We've got David Wenham as Kano. This is a different guy than voiced Kano in Scorpion's Revenge. Do you know David Wenham?
No.
Are you a Lord of the Rings boy?
No.
He was Faramir in the Lord of the Rings movie.
Which one is that? Can I guess?
You can guess.
Is it even possible for me to guess?
It actually is.
Okay, I'm going to try to logic my way through what I know about Tolkien
Sure.
to figure
I will
this
say
out.
he was in Two Towers and Return of the King, if that helps.
Okay, so it ends in ear, which I believe is a dwarf thing.
No.
Boromir, isn't Boromir a dwarf? Or no, is Boromir the guy who dies a lot?
Yeah, Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Boromir is Sean Bean.
So Boromir is
Okay.
Sean Bean. So Boromir is Sean Bean. Is he like Sean Bean's brother?
100% is Sean Bean's character's brother. You got there.
All I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
man.
if I was right on the dwarf thing, I was just gonna say, is he just the dwarf's brother? Like that was gonna be my answer no matter what.
No, he's Faramir in Two Towers.
Like
and
Faramir,
Return
son
the
of
King.
Dombadil or whatever the fuck.
Something like that. Have you seen 300? Zack Snyder's 300?
Not in like 15
based
years.
on the Frank Miller comic. Okay. Do you remember there was a guy who was part of one of the Spartan warriors who was also narrating the entire adventure?
No, I don't remember
narrator.
that movie having a narrator, but sure, yes. I'm going to say
Well,
yes because
it has-
it's better content.
It has a narrator, and that narrator is Dilios. That is David Wenham.
Michael Fassbender was in that? What?
Yeah, he was.
What?
Michael Fassbender's the one who says, "Then we will fight in the shade." That's Michael Fassbender, dude.
When I tell you that I haven't seen this for like 15 years, do you remember how old I am?
So you're like 7 when you
I
saw
was
it.
like 10. Like I probably
Yeah.
saw it close to when it came out. I don't remember this movie at all.
Okay. Well, I do. It was kind of a cultural phenomenon. And
Why is Lena? I thought Lena Headey was in the third one of these. I didn't realize she was in the first one of these.
there's only been 2. So
That's not true, isn't it?
there's only been 2 300s.
No,
Yeah.
no. Hang on. Hang on. I'm right.
You're not.
I think I am. There was a movie? Hang on. I know what I'm thinking of.
If you're thinking of Meet the Spartans,
I'm not.
that is not.
I'm not. I'm not.
All right.
I am thinking of. There was a movie that came out after 300 Rise of an Empire. I know that exists, but it was like shot the exact same way as these fucking movies, and it was also.
You're thinking of the Clash of the Titans remake?
No, I'm not. I am also aware of that. Just hang on. Look, this is gonna take me a second. It's gonna be so worth it when I remember the name of this movie. And by remember,
Okay.
I mean scroll through her IMDb until I find the thing that I'm looking for. Assuming
Stay
I am
tuned.
even correct, which I may not be, but I'm gonna insist that I am.
You're thinking of Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I'm not. However, she just might not be in it. But there was another movie that they made that is such a 300. Hang on. You keep going.
I'm hanging on. Okay.
You keep going, and I'm gonna find this because this is going to drive me wild.
All right. I'm going to run through some of our B players here in terms of characters, not in terms of actors. We've got Courtney Taylor as Kira, Yuri Lowenthal as Kobra.
He's PlayStation Spider-Man, isn't he?
I believe so. These are all. Oh man, shit! Paul can't record that for us right now. He's asleep. He just texted us to let us
What a
know.
piece of shit.
Keith Silverstein as Cabal, Imari Williams as Tremor, Sumali Montano as Kindra, and Deborah Wilson as Graji. I believe those are the 2 cage fighters we see that Kano shoots in the head.
Right.
Li Yin as the Sento Blade. That's our non-principal cast there. Did you find what you're looking for?
Oh, I've got very funny news.
Okay.
I was thinking of 300 Rise of an Empire the whole time.
Okay, well, there you go.
Because I was picturing a thing that involved a boat. So I was looking for this particular screenshot that would help me clarify what I was looking for. But I didn't remember 300 being in the name of the movie. So in my head, what I was trying to find, just to make this clear, is a movie that looked like 300 that I knew was not called 300 that may as well be a 300 movie that I was going to insist was a 300 movie.
And that, it turns out, is in fact a 300
Yes,
movie.
sir.
Okay. All right. Back to our stars.
Back to
We've got
Bombadil or whatever.
Manny Jacinto as Kenshi Takahashi. Manny Jacinto was in Top Gun Maverick.
Was he?
Yes.
Who?
what's his character's name? Hold on, I think I have that vertical tab.
I saw
open.
that movie. I feel like I should remember that.
He's a Canadian actor born in the Philippines. He was Lieutenant Billy Fritz Avalone.
Yeah, it doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, he was also a regular, like, main cast in The Good Place.
I was gonna say, it's incredible that you led with Top Gun Maverick.
That's his most recent project.
Yeah,
man.
but The Good
Everybody
Place is
saw
what
that
people are
fucking
gonna
movie.
know him from.
Sure. He was Jason Mendoza in The Good Place. And here's one for me. I have never watched this, but I remembered seeing the news about it. He played somebody named Eric, who was not the real name of a cast member from Saved by the Bell, in the unauthorized Saved by the Bell story TV movie.
How has that
I
come
think
up in my life twice in the last 3 weeks?
I believe it aired on Lifetime.
Oh my God.
Or something like that. And it was based on, I think it was based on Screech's book. The guy who played Screech. Dustin Diamond, that's his name. R.I.P. Dustin Diamond. You had it rough, buddy. Finally, we've got Ron Yuan as Kuai Liang. He did not voice him in Battle of the Realms. He's taken over the role. He did voice Scorpion in Mortal Kombat 11, I believe. And we've got Patrick Seitz back as Scorpion and Art Butler back as Shang Tsung. That's it for the Neil Nook. That's the cast stuff. I got a few things I want to talk about in this. Do you have something?
I have one. I would just like to give a credit to the casting director to say, we need somebody who's really going to bring some Paolo Montalban Kung Lao energy to this project. So where is the next great Filipino that we could find? And they just found Manny Jacinto.
They did it. Right?
I hope that doesn't sound weird. I just find it funny that they're giving the exact same energy and they're both Filipino.
He does kind of have great Kung Lao energy.
It's just like if Great Kung Lao had more pride. That's basically the thing that he's doing.
I think that, Corey, you and I need to decide right now. The village we see at the beginning of the movie.
Is it Jujin?
With the Liu Kang statue. The first one that the Black Dragon take over before we meet Kenshi and everybody. There's no reason to believe it's not Jujin, right?
I mean, every single one of those towns is Jujin.
But this one in particular, it was larger. It had gates around it. It had a big front gate.
Yeah, it's more fun for us if that's true. So absolutely it is.
They had a statue of Liu Kang, which in Conquest universe would be a descendant of the great Kung Lao, the hero of the city, Right. And it's in Earthrealm. It's Jujin. We're just going to call that first city Jujin. Jujin falls to the Black Dragon, and that's a bummer.
Boo.
Right?
I hate it here.
What did you think of the character redesigns?
Oh,
I'm not going to ask you to weigh in on Kira and Kobra and those. They just gave
because I don't know what those people look like normally. Again, I have a deep understanding of the Mortal Kombat lore, despite the fact that I barely know what half of it even looks like.
Right.
So, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't care for some of it. I'm very bored of this post-apocalypse Mad Max look.
A lot of it was pretty generic.
It's really generic and just sort of why are we doing this particular thing? So I don't know, Kano's just a big fucking robot guy. I'm I don't really care. It's not exciting. It's not a design in a fresh way that makes me go oh wow, Mamma Mia.
Sure.
So I mean
Yeah. I'll say I pretty much agree in terms of the Black Dragon goons, right? They all look either like they did in the game or they've had a redesign to make them match sort of how Black Dragon has been shown in Mortal Kombat 10 and 11.
Kenshi
particularly
isn't that far off from what he normally looks like, no?
Kenshi's pretty accurate. Yeah, Kenshi, he looks younger than any of the times we've met him in the games, but that's not a problem, because we know there's timeline shenanigans going on behind the scenes. I really liked Kano's redesign. I liked how he's just dove into this cybernetic augmented style and basically replaced everything but his head with robot parts and even part of his head, because he's still got the laser eye. And I liked the mohawk. I was into Kano. Actually, I was generally into Kano in this. He wasn't doing the Kano quippy stuff that we're used to seeing.
Doing it.
But he's got this.
He's kind of doing it.
Not as much. He's just more he seems a little more more chill. I don't know how
it's
to
a
explain
little
it.
bit more chill, and I know that comes from like the fact that the character just has been around for probably a very long time and is just used to this shit. I don't know if it's like leftover Kano rage from previous iterations of Kano, but even still, I found myself just being like, we're approaching Terminal Kano, and that happened in like 5 minutes, and he's the antagonist of the movie.
Yeah, it didn't get to me. I was pretty into it. I was pretty into David Wenham voicing him as well. That guy's
I don't think the performance is bad. I think it's just the shtick that I'm so over.
I could listen to that guy talk. I'm going to look up after this. This isn't even a joke. See if he's narrated any audiobooks, and I don't even care what audiobook it is. I'm going to listen to it just because he reads it.
Is Faramir Australian?
Faramir famously is Middle-earthian.
Faramir famously is from Long Island.
David Wenham.
A lot of people don't know that, but that's where Long Island is.
Yeah, it's in Middle-earth. Yeah, David Wenham is an Australian actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Hell yeah. Oh, he was also in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, and fucking Dark City. Holy shit. I got to watch Dark City again. That movie rules.
What is...
It's one of the movies The Matrix ripped off of.
Oh, The Matrix? You're telling me The Matrix wasn't a wholly original idea?
Right? Weird, huh?
I mean, that's fine. Originality's for fucking dorks.
Sure. Let's talk about old Kuai Liang. I liked Old Man Sub-Zero. I liked this Old Man Sub-Zero better than the Old Man Sub-Zero we got in like Deception and Armageddon.
You ever see Logan?
Yeah, I've seen Logan based on Old Man Logan, the comic book series.
I certainly think the people that made this movie have.
Yeah, but again, you're talking about something that was inspired by the same kinds of
I'm not saying saying that that's bad.
This is an archetypal story for sure.
Yeah, you know? I'm just saying that it's like there's going to be an internet listicle later today that's like, did you notice this? It's like Logan.
Yeah, I'm writing it as we speak.
But yeah, no, I think it's cool. I do enjoy getting a different take on this character again, because I think it's probably the one that's, because they already did Scorpion, that is most like ripe for this kind of like slight reinterpretation. I don't think any of the other like core Mortal Kombat cast really lend themselves to this particularly well. Like, AKA like, I don't give a shit about like what Old Man Jax is doing. Like, I just,
Well, but we kind of know he's a farmer. Like, he's not in this. Like, in this, the only Jax we see is Jax's arms in Shang Tsung, or in Kano's throne room.
Yeah, but like, you know what I'm getting at, where it's like, not just like because, that guy doesn't exist anymore, but like, if they were doing this to any character, like, I just think this is the one to do it with.
It fits the style of storytelling. I mean, the Mortal Kombat 10 comics in particular, and the game kind of did the same sort of thing with Hanzo Hisashi, except that he had like gotten a hold on the Scorpion powers.
I guess it is essentially the same.
Yeah, but he had after he lost the Shirai, like after Fox killed the Shirai Ryu, I guess shit changed for him. It's not exactly the same, but these are the right characters in any case to be doing a story like this. Have them be kind of the old masters, right? Who have maybe retreated from the public. It's them or it's Kung Lao, right? It's got to be them or Kung Lao,
right?
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And they went with the more popular characters, but also maybe that's because they killed Kung Lao in the last movie.
Didn't help. I will say I do have a slight bone to pick is too strong a word. I guess it's more of an observation, but I just find it strange. Is a new Mortal Kombat character ever going to fucking survive one of these?
Well, what do you mean by new?
Like, I don't know. It feels like the majority of the time when, a non-core cast, like early game,
like a recognizable,
right? When it's a nameable character from a later game, they're just there so that you can say their name before they're murdered violently.
Sure.
And part of me is a little bit just sort of like, you've got so much you can use.
Well, I mean, I would argue Kenshi, right?
Yeah,
Kenshi's not a classic.
That's
character.
A fair argument.
Right.
It's just like, I feel like, and this is not the only movie that does this, but like the whole franchise just has this issue where like they'll introduce like Natara in 2021, for example.
Sure.
And it's just there just to be like, if you know who Natara is, you clapped. and then
right.
cool, now they're
And then they
dead.
murder 'em.
And it's just like, there's a lot, you could do
Which
a
was-
lot with this.
That was the whole issue. One of the biggest issues I had with Battle of the Realms was
Battle of the Realms is really bad
our
for that.
core. We know our core 4 are going to survive. So then like everyone else they bring in is going to die, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and
because Liu Kang, Sonya, Jackson, and Johnny Cage have to survive.
yeah, and it's not like, you know, I was under the impression that Kobra was going to make it to the end of this movie.
Right. Thank God he did.
I just think, like, as a series overall, not this movie strictly speaking, but just like, I feel like they're missing opportunities to branch out a little bit more than they are. I think this is a good way of doing that, but because because it was like a timeline warp, like goof narrative, I can't help but assume it may not come up again. You know, I know they're making another, but we'll see.
They are. Let's talk about that a little bit. I'm going to call this a Big Theory Boys segment, but I don't think it really is. I think it's pretty clear. But I just really want to hit the button.
Big Theory Boys. Big Theory Boys.
We have not heard that one in a long time. So at the end of Mortal Kombat 11, if you play the arcade ladder as Kano, you see Kano's ending. And I'm just going to tell you what Kano's ending is.
That's fine.
He defeats Kronika. He spares her, but she does give him the crown and the power of, time manipulation. So he resets the timeline to make everything work out for him. And we get a shot in this of him like sitting high up on a throne, like he was in his city of K-Town, watching a cage match between two women, which is also something we see in this. And he says in his narration that everything was too easy and it wasn't any fun anymore. So he reset the timeline again to give himself a little bit of a challenge where everything doesn't come super easy. Everything's just a little bit outside of his reach. So he has to like put in effort to attain it. And that's his ending. That's how Kano rewrites time. He rewrites time to give himself an advantage, but not like be fully, just have everything he wants. So he still has to go after it and chase it, right? And there's a shot in that ending of him stealing Shinnok's amulet while Jax and Sonya are firing at him. And I think that what this movie is just an extension of Kano's arcade ladder ending from Mortal Kombat 11, where he is having to grind to win all the time. Because we even see that exact same shot of him stealing Shinnok's amulet in the Hourglass of Time, in that, that kind of the last scene in the movie.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that their intention was, hey, let's take a character, let's take their arcade ending from Mortal Kombat 11 and let's expand on that. Which means, like, what if they just do that for every fucking character? They just, like, do another movie where they're like, okay, so what would happen if, let's see what happens when Sub-Zero wins, right? Let's see what happens when RoboCop, what if they just do, like, a RoboCop one? I like that as an idea for exploring more Mortal Kombat stories, especially now that we're dealing with time travel shit and timeline resetting shit.
Right.
That, like, I think it's a cool idea to just further explore these alternate realities where these other characters are the victors of Mortal Kombat, I guess, versus just telling different versions of stories we've already seen, like they did in Scorpion's Revenge and Battle of the Realms. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do. I think that's apt.
Yeah, I think it opens you up to a lot of interesting like storytelling opportunities and more character focused stories than what we've gotten from these animated movies prior to this, with the exception of Scorpion, right? Where he was kind of the main character of two of them already, and then they also stuck him in this one as a supporting character. But I've heard some people complaining, like, again with the Scorpion, right?
Yeah, man.
Like, we get it. He's cool.
I know I just complained about this in the other way, but it's like, yeah, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. They're gonna do that. Like, I know
you got to have some,
and I'm agreeing to some extent in that, what does a Mortal Kombat movie look like that doesn't have any of these things? I'm curious.
Right.
However, I also live in reality, and it's like, well, you didn't think they were gonna put Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat movie? You fucking dumbass! Like,
come on, they got to have some of these big names in there, right? Like, it's hard for me to imagine. I mean, having Sub-Zero there, that fits the bill, and he fit a very specific role. I probably could have done without the Scorpion.
Yeah, the Scorpion bit's kind of strange. Like, it's cool in like the it's badass kind of way, but like, to what end?
They could have done something interesting where, because there was that implication that Kuai Liang is afraid of turning into his brother, right? And afraid of turning into Baihan. That what if his ally at the end had been Noob Saibot, right? He's like, you help me with this and you can have my soul, Noob Saibot, revenant from the netherworld, right? I think that would have been cooler than throwing Scorpion in there, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's an interesting way to layer it. I think that's even more leaning into the fact that this movie is not really for people that don't know what's going on. I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody who doesn't know this information. And I'm like, I guess you're just having like a pretty okay time because like it looks good and like there's a lot of violence happening, but you're definitely missing a level of it that is meant to increase the enjoyment thereof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I am curious if it works just on a surface level for somebody just watching it without deep lore knowledge.
Because I wonder if somebody would just go like, well, this is kind of generic, and then that would be it. Like, I wonder.
That's true. That might be the read. I think it is a good version of this generic story, but I do wonder if anyone would be like, I mean, this is nothing special.
Yeah.
I've seen this story before.
Where's the tournament?
I want to hear from the person who's never seen anything Mortal Kombat except for this and see what they think.
In another life, that's just me.
In another life, do you think you would have watched this?
No.
Yeah, probably not.
If I didn't know anything about Mortal Kombat, A, I wouldn't have heard that this came out, and B, I definitely wouldn't have watched it. Oh my God, Paul.
Hell yeah. All right. Downloading that now. It's 21 seconds long and it doesn't need to be. So
yeah, the first 5 seconds are incredible.
All right. I'm going to listen to it later. All right, fuck it.
The Black Dragon. The Black Dragon. The Black Dragon.
Paul, you're a fucking hero.
You fucking what? The Black Dragon?
Holy shit.
The Black Dragon.
Oh, shit. Fuck, that's funny.
Folks, you got to hear that happen in real time.
Now this is podcast.
Where was I? What was I talking about? It doesn't matter. I do have a couple other things I want to touch on, too. First, I really liked the Shang Tsung taking Kenshi to the Well of Souls thing, because that is, like, 100% Kenshi's origin story, you know? We saw a version, Kenshi origin story involving Ermac in Legacy, right? And it was we liked it in Legacy Season 2. We didn't love it, but we liked it, you know?
Yeah.
I liked that they were like true to the game canon. Shang Tsung pretending he's somebody else to get access to the Well of Souls of Kenshi's ancestors. Kenshi finding the Sento blade. I liked all of the Kenshi stuff in this. I think that making Kenshi the center of the story was a really good idea, because there's a reason why of all the characters created in the 3D era, he's been the one who's been like most consistently used in future games and added to the story and the lore and everything, and especially in like Mortal Kombat 10 era. He was heavily featured in the comic books and then in the story mode too. So I like Kenshi getting a movie, and I like the way they told Kenshi's story.
Yeah, for sure. It's also just very like passively watchable. Not that you shouldn't engage with it, but like, I didn't take that many notes. Like I just sort of sat down and vibed.
Yeah.
And like you're just gonna have a good time. Like the performances are solid and it looks good, and like there's a spinning Kenshi death montage featuring a sword throw. That
was fucking rad. So the other thing I liked in this is how they handled the gore and violence.
Lots of it.
It was lots of it, and it was pretty gruesome. But like in that opening scene when the Black Dragon's just tearing through with their Carmageddon cars, and they're like just pinning people on spikes and stuff like that. It was weirdly silly, you know. Like they got the cartoonish level of violence that I've always interpreted from the Mortal Kombat games up until like 11, right?
Yeah.
When it was just a little bit more cartoony and weird versus striving for realism. And I don't know, I just feel like they handled it pretty well in the way that I want it handled, where I want it to be kind of silly.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be too fucking real, right? Because then I get uncomfortable when it's too real.
Right.
I also noticed a couple of Easter eggs. I mentioned Jax's arms in Kano's throne or office. I'm going to call it his office. He also seemed to have Raiden's hat in there.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which implies some kind of a return of Raiden, which we saw foreshadowed at the end of Battle of the Realms, right? There's also that skeleton chained up on his wall, And I'm going to suspect that skeleton, because it's between Raiden's hat and Jax's arms, is Sonya
Mr.
Blade.
Bones. Oh.
Yeah, it's Mr. Bones on the Sega Saturn. Exactly. I think that's Sonya Blade skeleton up there, man. I didn't see any like Sonya Blade. Like I didn't see like her headband, or I guess she didn't really have one in the Legends movies, or like her wrist gauntlets or anything like that.
Yeah, all of her identifiable
like,
stuff would just be
right. So I was like, I bet that's her. I bet he captured her and chained her up in his office and just tortured her until she died. That feels like some dark ass Kano shit to do, you know? And then, of course, we've named a bunch of the Black Dragon people who show up. Ferritor, Kira, Kobra. Cabal's a given, right? You expect to see him. But
Aaron
then,
Black.
Yeah, Aaron Black was there. He never said a word, but it was pretty cool to see him. No Face, I mentioned. I didn't see, like, Gemini from the Special Forces game, but that doesn't mean she wasn't there, you know?
She was just off screen the entire movie.
Could be. Or she could have been, like, one of the background scenes or something, like, and I just didn't catch it. I'm not sure. And then Jarek. Right. So all the Black Dragon, Red Dragon players.
It's over, Jarek.
Show up. And I like that. I like again, that just feels like more like fan service,
It
right?
is.
But
that's all any of these are.
But if you're gonna do a Black Dragon story, yeah, throw all the throw the obscure ass No Face from the Special Forces game in there. Like just fucking do it. Right? Shocked we didn't see like what was his name? Traction or Tread or whatever from this Malibu comics in there. Would have been fun to have like a Jola and Cabral, like a couple characters that looked like them in the crowd in that like big cage fighting scene or something.
Right.
Just why not do it? It's a fucking animated movie. Just throw the shit in the background. Give me more of that. That's all. Make me see the Mortal Kombat thing and clap. Right.
Please, God, anything.
I have one gripe. I think I started this out by talking about how with one exception, I could really follow the action and the animation, and the story really seemed to flow well, which is something that Battle of the Realms didn't for me.
Right.
But there is one thing that, and I've watched this twice, when Kenshi is fighting Tremor at the end, they're just kind of in a room at first,
Yeah.
right? And then we cut away from them and we see the Cabal, fighting Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and then Scorpion gets Sub-Zero out of there and Cabal is stabbing him and stuff. We cut back to Kenshi and Tremor's fight, and inexplicably they're in the cage for the cage fight. Like,
well, they fell. Did they fall through the floor?
Into the cage?
I guess.
Maybe I missed it. It just seemed weird to me. I didn't fully follow that.
They didn't show it on camera. I think audibly there was some sort of issue sounding thing.
Because without seeing that, I just thought, oh, did they just be like, let's not here. Let's go in the cage and fight, right? And settle it like boys, It was just a weird kind of edit or something.
No, for sure.
It just didn't fully translate for me. The other final thing that I think is just weird is I felt absolutely fucking nothing when Cabal had Scorpion like hoisted up over his head, impaled on the hook swords, and his blood is just jumping, like just pouring down on Cabal. Because I'm like, Scorpion's a fucking wraith. Like you can't kill him this way. Why is he even bleeding at all?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
he's obviously some kind of immortal. And then I felt like the whole Revenant thing was like an afterthought. Like the movie would have sold itself just fine if it had been just the Black Dragon had taken over outpost by outpost without Revenants. And I understand that was there to show us why Sub-Zero is not using his powers anymore. But it just kind of felt like we're just going to throw this in. We're not really going to explore it in the story. It's just another Mortal Kombat thing. I feel like it needed more of an explanation. Like that is not the kind of thing that should be relegated to like an Easter egg or like fan service, right? It should have been explored more.
Right.
And that's all. Those are my only kind of issues with this. Outside of that, I think that this was a really, really fun movie to watch. And like I said, I don't know if it's going to be an all-time classic for me, but it is something I'm going to watch again and enjoy. Definitely more often than like Battle of the Realms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think you're going to watch it again ever? Like outside of like a gang watch party or whatever?
Outside of a gang watch party, I don't know, but I don't rewatch a lot of stuff all that frequently. So it's not really a knock against it in particular than it is just me in general.
Sure. You're not like me, who you tend to watch the same shit constantly over and over again.
Yeah.
Didn't you famously say, like, now that you've seen Jaws, you never have to watch it again? Wasn't that a thing that you said once?
Did I mean, maybe. I mean,
You were like,
I would watch Jaws
you were
again,
like-
though, just to be unequivocally clear.
I know, I'm doing the thing where I pretend you said something you didn't.
Oh, I would have just believed that I said that. You could have just lied. I mean, I guess you did, but you could have continued doing it.
Did we wake both of these boys up asking them to record this
There's
thing?
no way. Hang on. Time in... We have time.is open. What's an Australian city?
Give me, Paul's from Melbourne. That's been revealed on the show. So give me that
Yeah,
one.
but why don't they have a button for me to click in all of their times for time.is?
Try Sydney.
Hang on. Melb. It's 7:46 a.m. They're up.
I wasn't up at 7:46 a.m. this
They
morning.
are now, though.
Is it Monday for them? I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, it is. It's a work day.
Okay.
We don't have to feel guilt.
All right. Okay. I feel better. Gosh, the last thing I want to say is I don't even know if I need to say this. I liked the timey-wimey aspect of this, I guess. I liked that some events have happened in between the movies where, like, maybe all of Mortal Kombat 11 happened after Battle of the Realms.
Right.
And Kano somehow is the one who found the Hourglass of Time and just started fucking with shit. I think that's a fun idea, and I think that's a good way to blend, like, classic Mortal Kombat characters and stuff with modern Mortal Kombat stuff, like as modern as it gets, and create something original out of the mix and match. And I'm wondering if that's going to, like, guide where they're taking the series in the future, you know, now that they've introduced the concept of the Hourglass of Time and timeline resets and stuff, if, like, that's just a direction that the series is going to go from here on out. It'd be interesting to see, I guess.
Yeah,
and by the series, I mean all of Mortal Kombat, not just these animated movies.
yeah, I think it will be something to that effect.
Right. With, like, the embracing of, like, multiverse stuff in all of the big media franchises right now.
Yeah, really.
You know, kind of makes sense. I like the idea of it being linear and just sort of being changed and rewritten and happening over and over versus it all exists, you know.
Totally.
I think we did it. Do you think we did
Yeah,
it?
I think we did it. Good movie. If you're listening to this podcast, you've almost certainly seen it. If you haven't for some reason, you'll probably like it.
Yeah. Good movie. Good animated Mortal Kombat movie. Not a groundbreaking story, but a very well-told story. Good action, good casting, good animation, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's one thing with it that I just find jarring about the style in general, but when it's like very, very 3D background for
Sure,
some of it, I'm
yeah.
just like, my brain has to readjust. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, they seem to do a lot of that in the action scenes, too. Probably just because it was easier to animate that way. you
Right.
know? Yeah, there was a little bit of a weird contrast on some of that stuff. But overall, I think this was pretty fucking successful. I mean, it really snuck up on us. We weren't even planning on doing this. Like, we were all set to do Kitana and Melina comic book, right? And we were like, oh, shit, Snowblind is out. We have to cover that.
Yeah.
Let's cover it while the getting's good. So
For once, on any of my podcasts, something is timely.
timely. You're doing Halloween Ends right away, right?
Yes, we are. That's the plan anyway.
All right. Well, let's close the door to the hour.
Let's close the door to
let's
let's close the door on Leif Erikson Day.
Yeah, Corey, what do you got going on?
Leif Erikson Day.
Yeah, I know you celebrate privately, so I'm going to let you get back to that.
Thank you.
But do you want to tell people where we can find your other podcasts and stuff and what they
Well,
are?
you could just go straight to Mortal Kombat Conquest.ca. There's a few different podcasts over there, including this one if you wanted to just keep listening to this.
Which you should.
Which you should and you are, because this episode isn't over yet. And you definitely didn't stop before I said this, like about an hour ago. So if you
didn't open up this podcast about the brand new Mortal Kombat movie and then
hear us instantly spoil it,
10 minutes of other stuff and then immediately spoil it and then turn it off.
Nobody's done that. But they made another one, which is about sequels and reboots and remakes and stuff with our friends Liam and Mitch. That is at They Made Another on Twitter and all your podcast services. Strat 2 is the F1 related podcast that I do with my friend Callum. We did have an episode come out pretty recently, including one of our best gimmicks to date, which is which name a movie or movie scene or movie character or whatever that defines each F1 driver, which I think is an incredible bit. And we had a lot of fun with that.
That is fun.
So that's Strat2 F1 on Twitter and just Strat2 without the F1 in the name everywhere else. I'm at Mr. Corey Price on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Final Neil and Instagram at Final Neil Retro. I have another podcast all about the Alien franchise. We're jumping into the Aliens chapter, the titular Aliens James Cameron movie chapter of our podcast pretty soon here. You can find that at crewexpendable.net or Crew Expendable in your podcast app. This show is on Twitter and Instagram at MKPodquest. We have a website for just this show, mkpodquest.com. You can find links to our YouTube channel, our coffee page. If you want to support the show, throw us a few bucks. We greatly appreciate it. Please rate and review the show on all the platforms you can. Rate it positively, right? Like, let's make it good.
Don't go out of your way to give us bad reviews.
Shout out to Christopher, who did in fact vote us best podcast in town. Thank you, Christopher. It's official now.
King of Kings. You
can find this show, my show, Corey's shows, all of our stuff, except our social medias for some reason.
We're working on it.
And our friend Yassine's show, Combat Time, at mortalkombatconquest.ca. And I'm just going to go ahead and just do this now. We are recording the Melina Katana episode of the comic book episodes next with Jeff Hirschway from the Oscar Buzzkills podcast. I'm going to put that on mortalkombatconquest.ca as well.
Sounds great.
The mortalkombatconquest.ca podcast network.
There's like the Podquest network. That's a more generic sounding name. We don't. We can trademark that.
The Boys Casts. No.
Ah.
Bye.